Yeah, deeper's a good word. I like that word. Deeper.
Go on.
Hello, and welcome back to Bookend.
Hi.
I'm Travis.
I'm Eric.
Beat you to it.
And we've become so numb that we can't feel her there.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, so much more aware. Try to think what it means, what I can learn from others. I wonder if deep down everyone is as lost as I am. Is there even one person in here who has truly found peace? I start to feel doubtful about myself once again. To the worry tree! I can't decide whether these people are happy, unhappy, or if they've just learned to cope and now live in an unfeeling limbo like I did all spring.
Limbo, I knew it.
Yay! I escape from these feelings into the towering piles of books.
Yay! Were you picturing like actual limbo? Like the stick limbo?
Yes.
I was talking about purgatory.
I know.
Yay!
Yay.
Purgatory.
I was thinking of the game.
Yeah, I know you were.
guess.
How low can we all go?
Towering piles of books. I carry it to my room from Yuko's sanctuary. After realizing that this will just shut me down even more, I start going to the art club's room more often, usually whenever I can.
Mostly locked.
Rin, too, seems to spend more time in there than in her own classroom. Missed a comma there, but whatever. I've often seen her totter towards the door. Well, that's just rude.
She teeter-totters, but she never falls down.
At the very end of our corridor. We're losing our minds.
I think we are. It's not even that late.
That wooden door and the room behind it, smelling of paint and paper, seem to mean more to her than the rest of the world combined. She says she has special permission to use the room, which I don't doubt at all. I don't think Nomiya would deny Rin anything.
Slut.
He seems to dote on her, like an uncle upon a favorite niece. The object of his affection, however, has no favorites. She says she appreciates the teacher a lot for going the extra mile for her sake, but even when she says that, her expression is the same as always.
Maybe she's a sociopath.
Who knows? It's as if she was talking about a particularly unremarkable rock that she saw the other day. I can't really figure out their relationship. Rin doesn't seem to let anyone close. I don't think even Emmy could say she's crossed the gap that seems to separate Rin from the rest of the world. I don't understand it. She seems so indifferent, yet so passionate at the same time. Somewhere, the school bells ring. The last call of the day. I realize I've been zoning out for who knows how long. Dazed, I sit up straighter, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. The pungent smells of linseed oil and turpentine mix in my nostrils as I draw a deep breath. I feel drowsy and lightheaded, probably from all the stuff I'm sniffing.
Yeah, stop snorting turpentine.
Whoa! It's already this late, and a few club members left early. So it's just me, Rin, the teacher, and two other girls who are also about to leave. Rin sitting to my right, slowly working on a painting while I'm idling the time away. I don't think she realizes I've been watching her this whole time. Other than, when I was spacing out.
Oh, look at them sexy feet.
With a nimble move of her delicate ankle, she dips the brush into crimson paint and presses it lightly onto the canvas. It's red!
It's ultramarine, alright?
Ultramarine! It's not crimson, it's just red! Stain spreads around as if the brush was bleeding. Her progress has slowed down to a crawl. By now I've learned that this is dangerous for her technique, as the paint must not be allowed to dry before she's finished.
Don't die over there.
It occurs to me that I am literally watching paint dry. Ugh. And yet somehow I'm not feeling bored, despite spacing out just now. I mean, anytime you watch somebody paint, you're technically watching paint dry.
Yeah.
That's like saying you're outside, so I'm watching grass grow. This is so boring. Most of the time, the art club is very relaxed and freeform, apart from times when Nomiya gets really excited about some technique or style he wants to teach us about. Everyone is free to pursue their own interests. Lacking one, I keep floating around with a direction. I try this and that, but nothing really leaves me with a deeper impression, not to mention that I don't seem to have a special knack for anything. Gah. Well, I did get praise for my attempt at watercolors, and I felt pretty good about that myself, but that's it. I suppose it's to be expected. I joined the art club mostly on a whim, after all.
Finger painting.
I suck at painting.
Yeah, I
Painting
can't do
is
it.
what I'm
Like, I
worst
can
at.
sometimes draw.
Right.
Like, I'm terrible. I'm not an artist by any means, but I can at least, I know how to kind of draw. But painting, not even close.
No.
It's awful.
Not even, like, from anything. Watercolors.
Yeah, no.
To wall, like painting a wall.
Yeah.
Suck at it all.
Right.
I'm thinking I should maybe just quit the club. What if it's going to be this pointless? But there's nothing really wrong with pointlessness, and I can't exactly say I'm unhappy. You literally just did. Unsatisfied, maybe, but I've got only myself to blame for that. As the pair of girls exit the club room with a cheerful bye-bye, Nomiya stands up from his desk. His chair scoots back with a loud screech that breaks the harmony of this quiet afternoon. He taps a pile of papers in his hands twice against the tabletop in order to straighten them, then stretches his back. Okay, get the fuck out of here.
It's smoke o'clock. Time to leave.
I have a... what was his voice? I have a faculty meeting to attend, so I can't stay. I'll have to do some paperwork later, so if you want to stay, we can talk then. Sorry about this. There are 2 people here, but he's really talking to only one of us. Nomiya spends extra hours of his time mentoring Rin after official club hours are over, and I'll bet he'd like to discuss his plan of getting Rin's art into a gallery a little more.
Doesn't pay attention to me at all. It's alright. I think I'll probably be here, but it's not a big deal if I'm not. I don't really have much going on now.
Rin answers without moving her eyes from her work in progress. The tone of her voice is neither the polite kind expected when talking to a teacher, nor her usual monotone. So I won't need to send a search party if you aren't here?
Yes, no thanks. I don't like to party. We can talk later.
I've told you this already.
Yeah.
Stop inviting me to parties. Good girl. Smiling, the teacher picks up the rest of his papers and makes his way to the door. I glance at the clock above it and then at my watch to double check.
Yeah,
synchronized.
Double check, not the whole look at what time it is, forget, but to check the time and then look at the time again.
Man, buying a watch sure was stupid. They're 3 minutes apart, but nevertheless, the club's meeting time is over now. As long as you set it fast, so you're early for everything.
Yeah, I'm early for everything anyway, just because of social anxiety.
Yeah. Rin seems intent on staying here to work on her piece while waiting for the teacher. I can't quite imagine what their one-on-one time would be like.
I don't want to.
So I'm going to snoop on them. Would they actually discuss anything? Rin is always so subdued in what she says, and when she does say something, it's difficult to understand what she's talking about. Maybe Nomiya just talks endlessly like he does at club meetings, letting Rin absorb what she will from his infinite well of art knowledge, like a sunflower turning to face the glowing sun. Do you mind if I stay? I thought maybe I'd give watercolors another try. I blurt out the excuse sort of accidentally, embarrassing myself. Rin doesn't take her eyes off her painting.
I didn't even know you were here. Okay.
Yeah, sure, I don't care. I shift around in my chair, then get to fetching a cup of water, brushes, colors, and some paper. That's what you need for watercolors. The sound of my footsteps invades the still afternoon air. Before starting, I try to recall what the teacher told us, an important philosophy of the medium. Working with watercolors means more working with water than working with color. I try to keep that in mind and dip my tiny sable brush into the water cup.
I mean, that's definitely true when I watercolor because everything becomes soaked.
Yeah,
because I'm
the
terrible.
paper is ruined.
Yeah.
I'm mixing yellow and blue. What does that make? Trying to capture the sunlit treetops outside of the window. The sun is low, so the yellows are more pronounced, and everything looks darker. Still can't quite connect with what I see. What? I can't quite connect what I see with what my hand does with the paints. But it's a passable attempt for my level. There's like 4 widths in that. After a while,
I think you added one.
I think so. After a while, I start losing my focus and move the paper aside, deciding to watch Rin work for a while instead. That little while stretches first into a long while, then into a really long while,
I'm
then
drooling
to a really,
on
really
myself.
long while. Rin paints, her entire being fully concentrated on the brush between her slender toes and the painting coming to life one stroke at a time. She seems determined and yet at the same time relaxed, effortlessly moving the brush around, never hesitating. Colors meet and part, mix and cover each other on the canvas, bending to her quiet will. I don't know anything about composition, structure, or any of that stuff, but I really like Rin's paintings. I like how she looks when she paints. As usual, the silence between us compels me to speak rather than merely wait for her to open up. She might end up saying nothing at all. Do you mind if we talk?
I don't mind. You've been talking this whole time.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to ask more about why you got so weird about this thing the teacher wants to arrange for you. Rin picks up a tube of paint and squeezes it at my eyeballs.
Mind your business.
Between her toes on a palette, almost as easily as someone with opposable thumbs would. Taking up a brush again, she replies,
A lot of things, and some not things. Unthings. I don't think that's a word.
Do you want to talk about it? Try to reach out to her clumsily, ignoring the embarrassing feeling of awkwardness. Rin keeps her focus on the painting, spreading more and more paint on the canvas, her lips forming a perfectly straight line as she concentrates on the job.
Not really. Talking is hard. I mean, it's not hard. I'm talking even now, but saying the right things is really hard for me.
I noticed.
No matter what, I just can't say the things I want.
That sounds weird.
You're weird.
Jeez.
It's true. I say all kinds of things that I don't really mean all the time, and sometimes I forget words and I use the wrong words. I even come up with new words for things that already have some. That's the worst thing. I get really nervous, and everything comes out a mess, and even I don't really understand what I want to say. I think there's something wrong with me that makes it like this. Remember when I said I can only think of 4 things at the same time?
I nod, wordlessly.
It's not really 4. I mean, it is 4, but everything else is also there, kind of in the background. Like being in an amusement park and a beehive at the same time, but that's not the point.
Sounds like the worst amusement
Stop
park.
taking bees to the amusement park. I used to do better, like 6 or 7 things. I think so, at least. I feel like I'm becoming dumber.
Got my bag of bees. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I think everyone has times when they feel like they can't say the right things.
Do, 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 do. Ah!
There's bees in here. Why didn't you tell me?
That's a callback and a half, but it's there all the time. Stronger and deeper. Yeah, deeper's a good word. I like that word. Deeper.
Go on.
It's that feeling of being underwater. Maybe it's just art.
You're talking just fine, Rin.
Yeah. The more I paint, this is the most she's talked.
Yeah.
The more words I forget. Maybe at some point I'll forget how to speak completely. Feels like I'm slowly forgetting everything. Do you remember what you thought about things 3 or 4 years ago? I don't.
A long pause ensues, during which time seems to bend around itself, almost tying itself into a knot. I don't think I've ever heard Rin talk this earnestly and for so long about anything before. That's what we said.
Yeah. It's like I'm fading away from the world.
Rin's foot has stopped its work on the canvas and she is staring at her painting, unmoving as if gazing at some faraway horizon or her painting. Sunlight briefly glints in the corner of her onyx eyes.
It's look green.
Onyx is green?
Onyx is black.
Yeah, Onyx is a Pokemon.
Yeah. She's got like rock snakes in her eyes.
I don't know. Onyx, okay, I'll have to look that up. Maybe it is green.
I'm pretty sure Onyx is black.
Something floats up into the top layer of Rin's being, and she lets out a long breath. Then she blinks, and it's gone.
Do you want me to look it up while you continue to read? Paintings stay behind. When I look at my old things, I remember what I was thinking back when I made them. They make me feel like I can be with all the past me's when I was a different me. I guess they're proof of my existence.
She uses the exact same words Nomiya used when he spoke to us of the nature of art. I didn't think Rin was paying any attention back then. I wonder if she was listening, or whether she had heard the same passionate speech from Nomiya before. Either way, I feel overwhelmed. Boy, are you complicated. God, not worth it. I would have taken up writing a diary.
Onyx is black.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's talking about her pupils.
Her eyes quickly flicker to my direction and then back to the painting. But she doesn't pick up the brush anymore.
That's a great idea. Why didn't I ever think of that?
Are you being sarcastic right now?
What's sarcasm?
I don't call her on the joke, if it is one, but basically because it's almost impossible to describe sarcasm. Right at that moment, Nomiya returns from his meeting. He waves to us a very melodramatic hello, mildly surprised to see me here along with his pet student.
Now I'm trying to think of how to describe sarcasm.
Walking with a boisterous gait to his desk, he drops his papers upon it.
Okay. Describe sarcasm.
To respond to something in a way...
Well, it doesn't even have to be a response. It's saying something but meaning the opposite.
Yeah.
But not always the
but
opposite,
not really.
I guess.
Yeah, that'd just be like lying.
Yeah. I don't know. Who cares?
Right, exactly.
Episode over.
I was right.
There's a way to do it. I mean, the dictionary has a definition. Hang on, let's look it up real quick. Related searches, Onix Pokemon. Yeah. And Steven Universe, apparently. There must be an Onix character.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What am I looking up? Sarcasm. Sarcasm.
And a gun.
Definition. The use of irony to mock or convey contempt.
So they use the word irony, which is also almost impossible to define.
Derision, mockery, ridicule, satire, irony, scorn, sneering, scoffing.
Sure.
Taunting, gibing.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
That's a great definition. Get it? That was sarcasm. Okay.
Oh.
Got it.
I was scraping my finger against the microphone.
I'm sure that's not annoying. I actually didn't mean to do that sarcasm.